Did you ever wonder whether you are an interesting person or you're just a boring person and that's why you seem to have that little friends and that's why you stay in on the weekends? Because I have wondered that question under the same exact circumstances, and if you wondered that kind of question, or if you ever questioned if you're a boring person or not, and even if you haven't question that, keep watching this video because I'm kind of curious to know if you're a boring person or an interesting one. First sign that you are an interesting person is that you listen more than you talk. I know it could sound like a little controversial because like, shouldn't interesting people talk a lot because they like interesting, that what makes them interesting because they have a lot of things to say, but the thing is, interesting people listen more than they talk because they like to learn from others, they like to listen to others, they respect other people. That what makes them interesting. If you're gonna like yapping about something constantly and not letting other people finish their sentences and like, oh, it's all about me, it's all about me, you're not really interesting. You want to like come off as interesting because you're insecure about whether you're interesting or not, and that's why you do that, out of insecurity. And interesting people, they are curious about others, they want to learn about other people, they want to learn about other people's experiences, other people's lives, and gain some knowledge from it, and like gain some knowledge from the situations they've been in. So that's how they keep themselves interesting, because they listen to other people, and that information that other people give them and tell them makes them interesting. Second one is when you talk to people, you're genuinely interested in what they have to say. You're genuinely curious, interested in what they have to say, rather than trying to make yourself look interesting by never shutting up and always like talking and never listen to other people and like waiting, not like listening to people, but just like waiting for your turn to speak. Third sign is you're following your own path. You are a rule breaker. You don't care what people think. You're following your path. Even if no one in the world has ever done what you have in your mind to do, you don't worry about that. You don't care what other people think. You don't care what they're like talking about around you. You just decide to follow your own path instead of like following the paths that everyone follows or most people follow. You know, you're unique. That's what makes you unique. That's what makes you interesting. Fourth sign is that you're not afraid of being open and vulnerable. You're not afraid to show people what you're actually feeling. You're not afraid to tell people how you actually feel. You're not trying to mask it under arrogance, you know, because so many people do it, and that is partly society's fault, especially when men do this, because men are taught, like most men, taught that you cannot show your emotions because it's not manly. If you have kids, if you have like sons, boys, stop teaching them this, please, because that is what ruining a lot of relationships. So you're a very interesting person if you are open and vulnerable, because not a lot of people are open and vulnerable. This also doesn't mean that you have to be open and vulnerable to every person. Doesn't mean that you just met someone and you're like, okay, sit down, I'm gonna tell you the story of my life. No. It's just, you know where to be vulnerable, you know where to be open, you know where you shouldn't, with what people you shouldn't. You know that, but please, it doesn't mean that you have to go out there and talk to stranger and tell them everything about yourself. Fifth sign is that you have your own opinions, especially in a group settings. If you're with someone, with multiple people, and you are out there like exploring the city with like 5 of your friends, and you're the 6th one, and 5 of those friends like that I don't know, flavor of ice cream, and you don't. It takes a lot of to disagree with people, especially when everyone you're surrounded with have the same opinion and you're like, no, I don't really like that, like it's me, I don't really like that, I like that flavor better. It's a minor example, but I think you get the point, that you have your own opinion, not only when you're alone in your room and you're like, oh, I hate this song, and the minute you go out with your friends and your friends like, oh, this song is so amazing, and you're like, yeah, this song is so amazing, and then you go back home and you're like, still hate the song. It takes a lot of courage to have your own opinion and also to voice your own opinion. So having your own opinion and voicing your own opinion is what makes you an interesting person, because you're not going with the flow, because you're not trying to be a chameleon, you're not trying to adjust to everyone's opinion in whatever settings you are. Like, for example, oh, they like rock and roll, I love it too. Then you go to another person and like they like Taylor Swift and you're like, oh, I love that too, and like every day you're a new person, and that is just another way of people pleasing. Have your own opinion and voice it. Sixth sign is that you get excited about things. Doesn't matter how small or large. If, for example, you get excited about Bridgerton season 3 coming out in like less than a month, and you're like, oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to see like Penelope. Or if you, for example, cannot wait for the summer to like go on vacation, that like doesn't matter over what you get excited, you just get excited. You have that like childish excitement about things. For example, I get excited about like probably almost everything, and in the same way, I get hurt by every little like detail, but it's also what makes me like alive and what makes life so good, because I get excited over small things. I mean, it is a part of life. Seventh sign is you are kind to people. I don't think I have to over explain it. You're an interesting person if you are kind to people you don't know, to people who annoy you, to people who you want to scream at. Just kindness. Spread the kindness all over the world. Like, who needs those mean-like people? When I see mean people, I just think, what's wrong in your life? Like, you're not interesting to me. You're like boring, because I've seen much more like mean people than kind people. So when I see a kind person being kind for no reason, I'm like, oh, you're interesting. You're cool. I want to be friends with you, you know? And those mean people, those arrogant people, I'm just like, I've seen so much of you. Sign number 8 is that you try new things. It doesn't matter if you once a month you cook a new meal, you try a new recipe, or once a month you go try a new hobby, or you read a new book once a week, or you watch a new movie out of your comfort zone. For example, you love rom-coms, but you decided to watch a horror movie. Or if you try to take different roads from home to work, or from work to home, or if you're constantly exploring new places in your city, new cafes, meet new people, learn one dance from TikTok that you're not really good at dancing, but at least you know you learned something. It doesn't have to be like everyday thing. It could be like once a week, once a month, but you try new things, because that is what makes us interesting. Our experiences, our life, our discoveries, our curiosity and things. Sign number 9 is that you're genuine. And wait, it doesn't mean that you are very straightforward, and when you have a bad day, everyone will know that you have a bad day. Like, you have a bad day and everyone around you is gonna have a bad day by default because you're so mean to people. No. When someone, for example, asks you what your favorite type of music is, or if you like this singer or this song, and you're like, personally, I don't like it, but I respect that you like it, and I respect your choice, and I respect your preference, but I don't personally like it. You're genuine, you have your own opinion, and you are not afraid to raise it. Again, those are connected. Sign number 10 is that you don't follow the crowd. You have your own path, and you don't follow the crowd. For example, if TikTok once of a sudden decided that that product we all should buy, and everyone on TikTok is buying it, and you understand that you have no use for that product in your life, you're like, okay, I'm not buying it, but I'm like, I'm happy that you all like this product. I don't need that. It could be shown in this like small ways to like large ways. For example, a career path. It is what makes you an interesting person. The courage, the willingness to try something new, the willingness to go somewhere no one else have walked through. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, make it make sense. Sign number 11. You're not quick to judge people, because interesting people don't assume that they know it all, and how everything should be, and how everyone should act, and how everyone should live. They do not know it all. They are open to hear your side of the story. They are open to understand why do you think that way, even if they don't agree. They are not quick to judge people because they listen, they absorb, and also most of them don't judge. Like, most of them don't judge. Like, you have your own opinion, great, I have my own opinion. It doesn't mean that your opinion is better or mine is worse or vice versa. It means that we have different opinions. Not better, not worse, just different opinions. And they also don't gossip. They have things going on in their life. Like, people have their own lives. They try new things. They follow their own path. Like, gossiping is not something you do when you have your life full and you're an interesting person, because in the end of the day, who benefits from those gossip? Yeah, it's kind of like rewarding. It gives you dopamine in your brain, but it is really negatively influences our brain in the way that we start to see bad things in people instead of good, and like we become this like negative person over time. Like, little by little we see only like bad things in people that we can tell our friends and like gossip about. And also there are sometimes friends that you kind of like only gossip and there's nothing in there, and I had a friend like that, and I just stopped talking to them because I don't want to gossip. Like, you do you, queen. I support whatever you do, but just don't do it with me. And I'm just like, I'm out. Honestly, let's talk better about Bridgerton and how excited we are for it to release, you know? I better talk about things like that. Maybe that makes me an interesting person. I don't know. Does it? Sign number 12 is that you're very determined and you don't give up easily. I think, again, it's kind of like self-explanatory. So let's move on to sign 13. You aren't afraid of failure. Again, this like fear of failure we kind of have because our society puts on a pedestal success, and failure we see as a defeat. Like, oh, you failed one time. Okay, you're out of the game. And interesting people, they understand that life is not about like who wins, who loses. You just try to make that attempt that you're doing better by 1.00001%. I said it wrong, did I? I said 0.0001%. And you try to make it better every day, day by day, day by day. It doesn't matter how small, you just try to make it. Those people are not afraid of failure. They're not afraid of what other people will think of them, because people really think not that much about us. And even if they do, then great. I gave you something to think about. Take it as a compliment, because they took a time of the day that they can never get back, and they thought about you, and they gossip about you, and they spread those rumors about you. Sign number 14 is that you're compassionate. Sign number 15 is that you live out of your comfort zone. What makes people interesting is that they have different life experiences. They tried a lot of different things, even if those things like small different things. And they are not afraid to step out of their comfort zone because they know that they will learn something new, they will discover something new, they become even more curious in that one thing, or just it makes them better overall. And they're not afraid to just step out of their comfort zone and go to the gym, go traveling, do whatever, as long as it doesn't hurt your health. If it hurts your health and you're just, oh, I'm gonna go skinny dipping in this cold water without any ability to swim at 11 p.m. and don't do that, because it could harm your health or your life. Sign number 16 is that you notice interesting things in people, good things in people, like cute things in people. For example, you see someone and you see their phone case and you're like, oh, it's a cute phone case. Or like, I like their shoes, I like their bag, like their perfume smells nice. But like to the point where it's not stalkery, to the point where it's not creepy, to the point where it's morally okay to say that. Because a lot of people, when they come out to you and they say something nice to you, sometimes they can come off as like Joe from You, like a little stalkery, a little I've been watching through your window for 5 years now and I love your smell. And just, I don't know, try not to do it in a stalkery way, like respecting people's boundaries and like respecting people's space, not coming up to people very closely and stuff like that. Like basically respecting the human being, and also if you want to compliment something, like compliment it. I don't know, what I do is whenever I go somewhere, I look at people and I'm like, oh, I love their bag, I love their shoes, but not to the point where like, oh, I love your bag, give it to me because I like your bag. Like I doubt that anyone does it, but there are percent of people that like does it. And don't be the 1% of people. Like, you like something about the person, that's great. Move on, go your way. And also you cannot really notice anything rather than appearance for the people you see on the streets, because there's nothing much you can, notice. You can notice their voice if they're talking on the phone, but also find this like cute, amazing things about people that you already know and tell them. And to be honest, I think you would like to hear someone that you know for a long time tell you, oh, you know what? These shoes are cute, these shoes are fire, your nails are amazing, I love them. Just a little pick-me-up doesn't hurt anyone as long as a good pick-me-up, if you know what I mean. I didn't even know what I mean. Sign number 17 is that you're passionate. Doesn't matter what about. Doesn't matter if you're passionate about acting, or about trees, or about oceans, or dogs, but passionate in a good way, not in a way that like, oh, I love trees. No, that's creepy. That gives off Joe energy from you, and no, like if you're passionate, you're truly like curious about something, very curious, and there could be like multiple things you're passionate about. You could be passionate about music and playing on piano. You could be passionate about singing and drawing and, I don't know, horse riding. You can be passionate about so many things, but that what makes a person interesting. I remember one time my friend told me that the thing she loves about me is that when I talk about like movies or like watch movies, my eyes, I don't know, sparkle with like joy, with happiness, with like passion. Like I become so happy watching like movies, talking about acting, talking about kind of like those things. And she said It makes you so interesting, and interesting to even watch a movie with you and see how your eyes sparkle when you watch that movie or that scene, or like, which is, you know, might be the best compliment I ever got. So thank you. Thank you. And also, it doesn't have to be like a huge passion about like something that everyone has passion about. It could be passion about making phone cases, or like reading books, or making candles, or whatever under the sun. As long as it's legal, morally okay, and doesn't harm anyone, that's great. I'm happy for you. Sign number 18 is that you show up as yourself. And it's okay if you don't yet, because it's a hard step. It's a hard thing to start showing up as yourself, because we're constantly are put in this box by society that you have to be that and you have to be that, and girls have to smile and boys should not cry, and like we put in this like box, and it's really hard to get out of it, but you can get out of it. And I asked a few of my friends like, what makes a person interesting to you? And all of them almost said that when a person doesn't afraid to be themselves, when they show up with themselves. And that is so true, because the most interesting people I've ever met are those who are not afraid to be themselves, and they are just them. They don't really care if you like them or if you don't like them, they just are themselves. But again, it's okay if you're not showing up as yourself yet, because it's a continuous road, it's continuous discovery you have to make about yourself. So in order to show up as yourself, you need to know yourself. And for that, I have a whole video, I guess. I'm not really sure which video it is. I'm gonna just like put it here because I honestly don't remember which one it is, how it's called. But it's really not that hard, but it takes some work. It's simple, but it's not easy. Sign number 19 is that you don't try to be everyone's everything. Some people won't like you, and that's okay. You're not for everyone. You don't like some people, and that's okay also. Doesn't mean that you are a bad human being. But as long as you just keep your preference to you, and you're just like, oh, I don't know, something feels off about that person, and you're not just going around like, oh, something's wrong about this person, something wrong about this person. I feel like this person does that, and that. No. As long as you just like keep it in yourself, and you're like, I have a bad vibe about this person, and just gonna, you know, not talk to them, avoid them, you know, this person is not for me, we should not hang out anymore, and stuff like that. Because you're not for everyone, and not everyone's for you. Not everyone's gonna be a friend, your partner, your best friend, your colleague, your like a best supporter, you know, not everyone's gonna be that. And the same way, you're not going to be that for everyone. You're not going to be a perfect best friend for everyone, a perfect partner to everyone, or just a partner, or just a friend, because there's so many people on this planet, and you probably will have like good 10 friends throughout your life, maybe 10, 20 from the moments of your life. And it's really little number, but it doesn't have to be that high of a number, because there are 8 billion people on this planet, and everyone has their own person, everyone has their friend, even if they haven't met them yet. There is a person for you, there is a friend for you, there is a partner for you, there is your biggest supporter somewhere, like living, breathing the same air that you do. And if someone doesn't respect you and someone like treats you badly, you don't have to be their friend, you don't have to be their partner, because out there is walking the person who will respect you, the person that will love you for who you are, and not only love you, because loving someone is bare minimum, that will take care of you, respect you, listen to you, talk to you in not a condescending way, not in like, oh, you're inferior, I'm superior way, but like talk to you as equals. Because honestly, I don't know what you're going through, and I don't know what kind of troubles you have in your relationship, friendship, and stuff like that. But if you just thought about someone as I was talking and telling you this list, then you probably should stop talking to that person if they make you feel unworthy or bad or something like that. Because yeah, we all want that security, but you deserve so much better, and you're not everyone's everything, and don't try to fit everyone. There are people walking out there that you don't need to fit in with, because you're already fitted. Move on. Sign number 20 is that you're curious about things. It could be a one-time curiosity, it could be curiosity for a lifetime. It doesn't matter. You could be curious about things, like a lot of things in the same time. You could be curious about learning to play piano, you could be curious about that book, or like horse riding. So you can be curious about many things at once, but you're curious about things. And that is what makes you an interesting person, your curiosity. Sign number 21, you follow this channel. Yes, that makes you an interesting person. And sign 22 is that you have hobby and interests. I think it's pretty much self-explanatory also, and we talked about it already, so I'm not gonna tell anything further for that point. These signs are my own opinion. Some of them are taken from articles, some of them are taken from my head, and some of them taken from people in my life, but they are completely my opinion. And if you can say, yes, it describes me, even to one of these signs, then you are an interesting person. And if you can say, yes, it describes me to anything I just listed in this video, then watch this video again, because you probably paid a bad attention in this video. Anyway, I'll see you in a week or in a few seconds if you want to check out any other of my videos, and love you! Bye!